He searched for a pulse. Didn't find one. Kept trying. Eyed the blood on the floor. It was still liquid, but lighter red than fresh blood. The process of coagulation had begun. A thready voice called, "Help me." Patrick nearly fell over in surprise and cringed in pain from the sudden movement. He shot a look at the man, even though the sound seemed to come from someplace else, further in the bunkhouse. It wasn't this man who had spoken. This man was dead. "In here." The words were a barely audible hiss. Patrick dropped the dead man's wrist, stood, and spun in a circle, searching for the source of the voice. "Kitchen." But I didn't see anyone in there. He retraced his tracks. A wide smear of blood, darkened but still wet-looking, led across the tiny kitchen floor to a door, which was open about 1/4 of an inch with light seeping out around it. The glow from earlier. A pantry, a laundry room, a hallway. Whatever was behind it. Patrick didn't want to open that door, but he knew he had to. He sucked in a shallow breath and wrenched the knob, pulling outwards to expose a surprisingly deep pantry. A bare bulb with a pull string hung from the ceiling. It illuminated cans of food and bags of rice, beans, sugar, and flour on the shelves, and a long-legged man with a boot missing from one foot slumped against the base of the wall. He held one hand on his bleeding head, hair color indeterminate, the other pressed into his round, oozing gut. Patrick drew in a sharp breath. What had he stumbled into? "I'm here to help you. I'll be right back after I call an ambulance." The man shook his head, revealing broken teeth and what may have been a smile. "Not gonna make it." Patrick squatted to get a closer look at the gut injury. The man's intestines had oozed out around his fingers. What seemed like half his body's blood volume was seeping into gapped wooden floorboards. Patrick couldn't be sure without moving the man's hand, but it looked like he was dealing with another incision in addition to the traumatic head injury. Patrick gave the man a 10% chance of survival, only because he'd toughed it out so far. He said, "Just let me. He got away." Patrick paused. Part of him wanted to discourage the man from wasting his energy on speech. But this was important information. The man in the other room had been murdered. In a few minutes, this fellow would likely meet the same end. Right now, he was a living witness to a homicide, possibly the only one who could identify a killer who might attack someone else. Friends, neighbors, his wife, his kids. The murderer might even still be on the ranch where he was a current threat. "Who?" Patrick asked. "Man. Dark hair. Dark skin." "Indian?" The Wyoming population was by and large either light-skinned or, if dark-skinned, American Indian. A slight headshake. "Arab." Arab? Patrick didn't know of a single person fitting that description in Johnson County, nor all of northeastern Wyoming for that matter. "A man from the Middle East did this to you?" A barely perceptible nod. Then the man's eyes closed. "Stay with me, sir. I'm calling an ambulance." Patrick heard the rattle of the man's last breath before he'd even backed out of the pantry.